Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series. In this series, we listen to stories from various speakers that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have with us Melinda Lewis. A very hearty welcome, Melinda. Melinda Lewis is a passionate mother and scholar with the love of learning. As an inclusive teacher and researcher, she views mindful approaches and feminist principles to support holistic biographical work. As an academic author for nearly 30 years, Melinda writes honestly and passionately through the journey, metaphor as a river, which speaks to many creative writing techniques and storytelling methods. Meditation commentary, poetry, stargazing, and bushwalking greatly assist her processes and connections. So that's a very big, varied range of experience. And the topic of the story, or the title of the story today, is You Can't Make a Mistake. Oh, very interesting. And it's a story of the mix of stillness and movement through moving house and relocating. So let's hear from Melinda. What was the story behind, the house moving and relocating? What happened? What she went through in her mind and thoughts. So without any further ado, a very warm welcome once again, Melinda, and it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Lata, and hi, everybody. It's a joy for me to share a part of a story with you, and I hope that you can listen and appreciate the journey that we go through life. So, as Lata mentioned, this is a story that happened over the last couple of years, and of course it's still unfolding and will continue to unfold, but it was about selling, moving, renting and buying a home. And so it actually starts like this. I had to sell our family home in early 2022 through a marriage breakdown and a property settlement. I was and am extremely attached to the home as it was where my children were small but growing rapidly. It was surrounded by semi-rural acres and national parks, and the small village on the northwest fringe of Sydney was close to the waterways banked by sandstone and bush. My property settlement was unexpectedly delayed and leaving me uprooted, floating and unsure of the future. I missed my friends. I missed the family. I pulled out of a potential purchase straight away in Sydney at that time because it didn't feel right. I was doing this solo for the first time. I didn't feel I had enough work or income, and I was really flummoxed what to do. So I actually did nothing. The decision to pause arose through a moment of clarity by a bonfire at a retreat weekend. I watched the flames, looked up at the starry night sky, took a breath. There were people beside me, but we shared no words. I had a profound realization and change of plan that the timing was not right. And I found a peaceful rental cottage close to the village I knew so very well. I breathed and bided my time for 6 months, allowing for a few things to line up, to fall into place, and most of all, to centre myself, which they did. Then when the time was right, I knew it was time for movement. On my recent birthday, I set an intention with great clarity for where and how I needed to live, now and also in the future. Backed by sage advice from wise friends, they said, "You can't make a mistake." I'd never heard that before. I felt like everything had been a mistake. It really humbled me with great courage to think I can't make a mistake. How interesting. But I believed it. So with that courage, I found a safe little cityside studio with lovely surroundings and very close to my adult family in 2 other locations. The vibe felt natural, meditative, a mini writing retreat supporting my work and interests, and surrounded by walking tracks in nature, lovely friends and new experiences ahead. How did I find it? Fortunately, I experienced a profound moment of clarity and direction in a meditation very early on a Monday morning. My intention to buy a little home was centered on my family, sustaining my well-being, being closer to a group with spiritual sustenance, closer to work, and minimal financial pressure. I'd been doing online searching for hours every day, every night for a very long time. And the Domain real estate app really was always open on my laptop. But on this morning, I decided to change my search filters. I changed my price. I reduced it radically. I changed my location filters. I viewed the map instead of the list. I checked recent sold prices. And I still wondered whether I could actually do this on my own. I was searching online just before dusk this Monday morning, and there was nothing at all. I felt very despondent, thinking I have to make a decision without joy and just stick it out. I closed the laptop, took a deep breath, and experienced a long, deep, silent space, a meditative space. I don't even know how much time went by, but I know the beautiful birds were chirping, the sun was rising. I reopened my laptop and I saw something I had not seen before. I saw a location. I saw the pinpoint on the Domain app, and it caught my attention. I phoned the agent immediately. My wish to center my energies and relocate to a place that felt safe and welcoming was becoming real. It felt like magic. The following day, I looked at the place and made an offer. And within a week, paperwork was happening, money was being transferred. And within 4 weeks, I moved in. It all happened really smoothly and really quickly, which was just right for me. And I do feel quite peaceful in this location. I feel very fortunate to have found it through a moment of stillness. And then again, there was rapid movement. So that's a little story about how I've come to be where I am at the moment. And I know that I'll return to another place at another time. But for the moment, this is where my soul feels right, peaceful, close to people who I love very dearly, and close to the waterways and the trees and the birds, which I really can't be too far away from. Thank you.
That's a nice, sweet, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, Melinda. And I was just pondering on the title that you have given the story, that we cannot make a mistake. Would you like to share a bit about, what made you come up with this title?
Yes, thanks, Lata. It's curious, isn't it? As some wise friends shared it with me from their experiences. So it was certainly something that has been shared and sort of rippled down through a couple of people, actually, and certainly from a beautiful person with quite some life experience, shared it with a friend, and then that friend shared it with me. And it made me think about how we judge things and how we always, or how I was making thoughts that were very definitive and very negative. And so instead of sort of letting experience and life unfold and, being on that journey and appreciating, all that life has to offer, this sense of judgment of right and wrong, good, bad, mistake or not mistake, I realized was actually something that was quite holding me back. And when I realized that I'm in control of this, I'm being guided, I'm being calm, I can make this decision, it's my decision, and that was really liberating. And in that way, I thought, it's not a mistake. There is no mistake. It's a beautiful decision and a step forward in a life journey. And I know I'll be supported, and I am, and I have been, and I am, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's very beautiful. It kind of reflects, there's this phrase that we say, look before you leave. But I think if we start looking too much, then we won't take the leap. What do you have
Yes.
to say about that?
Yes, thank you, Lata. I was thinking similarly before sharing this story that there's also that paradox between, setting an intention, being really firm about your ideas, in a very sort of healthy way, and also letting go. So, and I think that was something that was moving around and playing out for me as well. And I think, we get these mixed messages all the time. And I realized that for me, what I felt in that moment was the right feeling for me at that time. And knowing that, the feelings shift and change, and the thoughts shift and change, and they all culminate into making decisions, but that all of them are okay.
Yeah, how beautiful. Do you think, like, of course, when it's right, we know it's right, but then the process till we reach there, as you say, is up and down, and has a lot of learnings for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I think once I actually then, even though I was taking great inspiration from a range of sources, nature, dreams, the starry night sky, friends, wisdom, once I actually sort of focused in on myself and how I felt. So I was really working on a felt sense in my heart and soul and in my body. And when things feel right, they just feel right. There's no actual it's like they're not there because they feel right. When things don't feel right, you do get crowded with a whole range of sensations. And of course, over time, we learn to actually pay attention to those sensations. And in this sensation, there was just this beautiful, smooth, open feeling. There wasn't sort of other feelings and sensations that came in. And then I moved very quickly. So this stillness and movement seemed to sort of just, go forwards and backwards for me over a couple of years. And I learned a lot about that process and about myself in that process throughout this experience.
Yeah, wonderful. Would you like to share with our viewers, like, they may be in different kinds of situations, where something's not right, and they are all in the direction of finding that destination, or a place where it seems okay, now I have found what I needed, or okay, I've reached where I had to, based on your experience, and any tips that you would like to share, or any views or opinions.
Yes, there's a great saying, another great saying that I came across actually just as I'd landed and moved. And you may have heard of it. And it's about the journey and the destination. And it actually goes, it's not the journey or the destination, it's the company. And I think that gives a beautiful rendering of the support of thinking, what is your company? And your company could be people, their beliefs, a range of belief systems. It could be spiritual company. It could be a whole, whatever gives you comfort, or how you can comfort yourself, and how that company can offer comfort. And so I think I would invite people to reflect on, how do you find comfort, and where and when? And is the company offering you and supporting that comfort? And is it reciprocal in a way of sharing spaces for this comfort? And then we can have some stillness and clarity, which of course supports us to be able to make some really good quick moves when we need to.
Yeah, beautiful. And Melinda, you have been practicing meditation for some time now. Do you think meditation practice as a regular thing helps in these things as well?
Absolutely. I've been exploring a range of traditions for decades, and I guess when we're faced with circumstances that we don't expect, or experiences in life that arrive, or surface and we didn't see them coming, for example, particularly in those times, to draw on practices for me has been incredibly helpful. And with those practices, I actually render back to the teacher and the teaching of those practices and really pay my respects through that process, and then draw inspiration and peace through adopting the practices quite regularly. And particularly through the time that I've shared as this story, you know, I had a morning routine. I had a routine before I'd actually meet people, before I'd go to open homes. I actually was building it in very many ways, as much as I could, to support my practice, for those practices to support the time that I was going through this change.
Yeah, wonderful. It seems like as you were sharing, just this thought came up that one is the internal preparation, which is happening without us knowing about it. And one is the external things we do, like searching and, trying to find what's right and not. And it kind of seems like when both are in sync, that's when the right time arrives.
That's a great reflection, Lata. Thank you for offering that back to me and offering that to the audience. I concur with that. Yes.
Yeah, because both are going in the same direction, but somehow once they are in parallel and they meet, that is when we arrive.
Yeah, I think so. And we can think of things as a parallel journey. That's another part of the metaphor that I've used before, the within journey, the parallel journey, and you can think of what the parallels might be. So there's ways to use that metaphor and use the internal practices to connect very much with our daily experiences in life and decisions that we make.
Yeah, beautiful. And since we are sharing a bit about meditation, I think it would be nice for our viewers also to get a little trailer or a little brief experience of meditation. So if you would be happy to speak a little commentary and guide our viewers into a meditation experience, that would be lovely.
Certainly. Thank you, Lata.
Thanks.
So I invite you now to set your body, whether you're sitting, standing, lying down, finding some stillness in a relaxed manner. You can scan your body for areas of tension, sensations, and imagine your breath traveling from your toes to the top of your head. And from the top of your head back to your toes. If you feel tension or sensations in your body, stay focused on that part. And imagine breathing in and out of the place of tension. Focus on your breath. Breathe consciously and keep your breathing smooth, even, quiet, and long. I invite you to set an intention, something in your life right now. That could be, may I enjoy my breath. Or it could be, may I relax in mindfulness. Or can I rest my mind to be quiet? Keep your breath moving. It can be difficult to maintain concentration on your breath. And don't be surprised if you find you get caught in thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. Sometimes these can be very powerful. Setting an intention through mindfulness is a practice. I invite you to set another intention. Think of a circumstance in your life right now. May you find clarity or direction in your circumstance. Can you attract the companions and comfort to support you? As you find stillness, know that movement and stillness support each other. And feel into the idea that you can't make a mistake. If you're consciously aware and mindful, with companions, feeling supported. Be present to your circumstance. And bring awareness to your thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment or reactivity. Be present to what is without wanting to change it or identify with it. Come back to your breath. Try to experience the physical feeling of your breath. The comfort it offers. The way it supports our well-being. And our mindfulness and meditation practices. I invite you now to let go of your intention. to imagine it being close to you, but not holding it tightly. You can imagine that you're placing it in a container or under a pillow or on the branch of a tree. It will be safe there and you can rest. With the peace in mind, I invite you to start to focus back in on your breath and very slowly start to wriggle your fingers and toes and scan again your body from your head to your toes and from your toes to your head. Coming into your body, I invite you to stretch and move gently and opening your eyes if you've had them closed. And continuing your breathing. I invite you back to be fully present and fully aware of your circumstance and your surroundings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Melinda, for that beautiful commentary, leading our viewers into creating an intention for themselves and creating that determined thought. And thank you for sharing your story and your reflections with us today.
My pleasure, Lata. Thank you very much.
I would also like to thank our viewers for joining in. And if you would like to know more about the Brahma Kumaris, please do visit our website, www.brahmakumaris.org.au. There are various programs and events that are at all the centers, and the addresses and details are available on this website for you to take benefit of. So thank you once again, and we will come back with another interesting story with another interesting speaker. So thank you once again. Take care. Om Shanti.